So that's why I didn't drive also. I didn't want to,
Okay.
driving involves lots of decision making, like
true.
turning, braking, all those things, shifting gears. So I didn't do anything. My dad was driving. I was like, clouds. I just had very chill day in the morning.
बचपन में सोचा था कि बड़ा कुछ करूंगा, पापा के मिडिल क्लास सोच से लड़ूंगा, दुनिया वालों ने मुझे इतना डराया, हुए देखो आज 4 साल कॉलेज में सड़ूंगा क्यों.
So for GATE syllabus we have 10 to 12 subjects. You can't remember everything. So revision is a very important point here. So how frequently you used to revise and what was your plan and what was your strategy for revision?
Since my preparation was long, so I should have a revision strategy in a good way. Okay, so, I started my preparation in the second year. I told you, right? So after I did one subject, I go with the next one and start revising the previous one because I will forget it for sure because it will be out 1 month of duration also. So whenever you try some problem and if you couldn't able to do it, I will start revising. So that was my strategy, you can say. Then I increased the frequency of revision in the third year and fourth year. Fourth year at last, and I need to prepare. I need to revise a lot. Yeah, revise first. I initially used my long notes for my revision. Then I used the micro notes.
Okay.
And finally, I used the micro notes too for revising it, where I just revise all those formulas and the concepts alone. Not the derivations, and that's just for your knowledge, and that you need to know. It's not like you don't need to study or something, but you need to know. But in revision, you just need to know the formula and how you need to apply it, and how can you formulate the problem, and how can you connect with the formula. That's more important in GATE point of view. Okay, so that was my revision strategy.
And before 15 days, you only revises, right?
Before my GATE exam, so I stopped giving mock tests in Jan. So I started revising more frequently. I started for each day one subject in a sense. Then I revised 2 to 3 times in a Jan month itself by itself.
So, whole syllabus you are
whole syllabus, but it might be different for him. Like he's laughing at me.
So let's know
So how
your
many
strategy.
revisions did you do approximately?
Approximately in my whole span, right?
Double digit, right?
Yeah, of course. It weighed 10, 20.
Whole syllabus 20 times.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Okay, nice. So my thing was, since I studied all these topics before in my career, in my course, and then when I started preparing, I went slowly while making notes. After making notes, I started revising then and there, and my revision was like very fast paced. Like I used to revise like one subject per day, like he did in the last month. I did that in the December month itself.
Okay.
So I did 4 revisions. One during the December month when I was doing mock tests.
So you completed your whole syllabus in 1-2 months, and then you started revision.
Like in the November month, I almost finished all the subjects except for maths and some aptitude concepts. So I started taking mock tests during that time itself. I did all the core subjects, and then I started taking mock tests along while preparation of maths and other basics. So my revision during the mock test was like hurry-burry. Like I started revising very fast, and also I didn't have to spend much time because I did it 1 month back only. So I had all of the concepts in my mind. My revision was like I have patterns between formulas, as in if we take aerodynamics, in aerodynamics we have potential flows, potential functions and all those. They are very similar to Airy stress function from structures.
Okay.
So there are lots of connections between these, and not just that, from structures we can connect many things to flight mechanics.
Yeah.
And from flight mechanics we can go for propulsion, and there were like many patterns were there, and with that I tried to connect those patterns only. During my revision I was connecting them and I was trying to remember.
Yeah, and nowadays you can see many questions are like combined with the 2 subjects, like you mentioned fluid dynamics and structure. So like everywhere, every paper you can see some connection between the papers.
So I used to have a general formula in mind, and depends on whether it is fluid dynamics or structures, I will change the parameters of it. It will look almost similar. So that's what I was trying to do, and since I had this pattern, I didn't spend much time on revision, but I had to do multiple revisions because I learned during mock test more than my actual preparation. So during mock test, I found that I am lacking in Poisson-Lee flow and the pipe flows and plate flows and all those. Like my friends who were good at it, they were teaching me how to do that. and if you know that it comes under a topic called special flows in fluid dynamics.
Yeah.
So that topic, almost all the subtopics in that topic have the same formula. The main formula. We had to just derive from that. So the whole segment needs only one formula. Instead of reading separately, I just revised the one specific thing and I knew how to modify them based on that. And good thing about GATE is they give formulas to us.
Sometimes. If
Sometimes.
it is too big, they will give
If it is
formulas.
a huge formula, they will give the formula and ask us to solve the formula.
Yeah. So like in mechanical paper, in heat transfer, so convection part, they give the formula.
Here also they
Fluid
give
dynamics, in most parts they give the formulas
CFF,
because
yeah,
all the formulas are
Prandtl
very
functions.
huge.
It's kind of hard to remember the angle,
So
they
they
will give us the formula.
Yeah, so
But they just want to know how we understood
Exactly,
the concept.
exactly, yeah.
So that's what they look for. They don't ask us to remember or anything. So what he did is the same. We should not remember all those formulas separately, but we should be able to connect each formula to the physics of the what we are studying.
Yeah.
So we should be able to relate to it. Only by doing that can connect the questions with the formula. Without if you can read the formula alone and go to the exam, and that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Because without able to connecting what is the formula is for, you can't be able to solve it.
Yeah, true.
Because none of the questions will be direct.
That's true.
We cannot use the formula directly. We have to modify the formula ourselves and to get the answer. So even though they gave the formula, we cannot apply it if we don't know how we can modify it. I just knew how to modify it. But also during my last two preparations, I remembered the formulas just in case if they don't give it, it will be awkward. So I just prepared it. But still, after going and seeing the questions like in the first 1 hour, I removed them from my mind because formulas were there. Some formulas I didn't have to remember. So I cleared my mind of all the things which I don't want, and I only focused on things which are needed for that paper because each paper will be unique, right, on its own. So based on the paper, I set my mind like these are the things I have to know, and I don't know if for everyone it works or not. Like if I see a question, if I don't know it now, after few minutes when I come back to it, my brain would have already got the formula on its own. Like
great.
it just feels like that. And like in the first go, in some questions which I skipped, I thought like I'll never attempt this again. But in the second time I came, this can be used here, and that automatically comes. And yeah, that helped me a lot, and I solved like many questions like that.
Okay, great.
So that's how one strategy will come and help. So if he doesn't have the second round to come and over there, then he would not have attended.
So he knows him better. That's why.
True.
Yeah, we should know ourselves better, what works and what doesn't work. That will come only if you do mock tests.
Yeah, true.
Mainly.
So first week of February or second week GATE exam held. What was your plan and what you did on that day and how you tackle on these 3 hours and basically D-Day you were saying.
So I went to the exam center on time. I just don't want to hurry and bury up at the time. So I went.
That should be your first priority.
Yeah, that should be your first priority. If possible,
leave your home
I
one.
went an hour before.
So I went over there and kept my mind cool. Like many of my friends were preparing, so I thought like don't get into formulas now. You can get that formulas.
What do you want to say about the people who are preparing in front of the exam hall?
It's unnecessary. Like we don't need it. We if you are prepared well, then at that point
you don't need to.
It doesn't matter whatever it is. It doesn't matter at that point. If you are learning it for sure, I don't think it will be staying on the mind after getting into exam hall. By pressure, you will be losing it or whatever it is. But some people may. It depends on person to person.
Yeah, and unnecessarily you are preparing your mindset and putting on one concept. So you might be searching on the question that what was there in that and how I can apply on what I just read before the exam hall.
That's true.
So before my preparation started, I saw a TED Talk.
What was that?
On decision fatigue.
Okay.
So I didn't know what it is, and if people who don't know, I'll just explain it in a short way.
Yeah.
So it's like we have limited number of processing thing in our mind. Like we can make only certain number of decisions properly, and after making hundreds of decisions in a day, the next decision which we make will not exactly be involving all our intelligence. It may not be as good as before. So this is the reason, like even in courts, they shift judges and stuff with time because they keep this decision fatigue in mind. Like once we take too many decisions, our next decisions will not be what we want in the later time. So that's what I had in mind. And I thought like if I decide my dress, that may also add up as one of the factors in decision fatigue. And for the last 1 month, I made my mom choose my dress to wear it in the morning.
So you were not doing anything extra which can take your brain.
So that's why I didn't drive also. I didn't want to, driving involves lots of decision making, like turning, braking, all those things, shifting gears. So I didn't do anything. My dad was driving. I was like, clouds. I just had very chill day in the morning. And what happened was before the exam, my long lost friend who studied with me in my school days, I have not seen her for a very long time, and she saw me and she was like, "Hi Shyam," and I'm like, "Who are you?" No, I didn't say anything. I just walked. I didn't talk at all.
Because if you say hi, your brain will be using and your brain will think out where I met with her.
No, it's not intentionally, but since I was doing that way, I didn't want to decision fatigue myself.
Okay.
So it just happened. It felt awkward after the exam. I went to her and I said like, "I'm so sorry. I was thinking about exam and I didn't see you at all. I saw you, but I didn't."
Yeah, that much focus is required, I guess.
What I think is, if someone's preparing during the exam, even with preparation, that is some form of decisions. Like learning will consume a lot of neurons and stuff, and that will make us tired itself. And during my mock test, I did one time I tried to do 2 mock tests in a day. Morning mock tests I got like 53 or something out of 100. Evening mock test I got 30.
Okay.
So then I realized, okay, decision fatigue is real because I solved the whole paper in the morning and I could get good scores. Similar paper, I couldn't get even half of not that much good, right? So that was because of decision fatigue, and I clearly saw it. So I took it very seriously, and that's the reason I took rest for like 1 week before exam. And if anyone wants to read during exam hall, like in front, I don't think anyone did that. When I went to the hall, like no one was reading.
At least my friends were reading at that point. You can say not my friends in a sense. Few of my classmates came out, so they were reading it on notes.
Maybe people who want to just pass the GATE exam, they can read and remember some formula, so they can apply.
Yeah, sure.
Not for scoring purpose, definitely.
Yeah, but in the exam center I went, everyone were like doing their own thing. They were like walking and searching where to go. They were searching canteen, and canteen were closed. So I didn't see anyone with the book walking around reading. Like I see that during our BTech exams. In semester exams they used to do that. Even I did that. But during GATE I didn't do that.
So let's say you enter in the exam hall and you were just about 15 minutes you logged in and all. So then how you see the questions? Will you start solving itself from the first questions, or you will go and scan once? Then you'll what is your plan?
Also, I believe in warm up.
Okay, great.
So when I started, I went. First, what happened was I saw the English questions like grammars and stuff, and all the options were looking exactly same to me. I didn't know any difference, so I just skipped all those and I solved problems which are like very easy ones, like just matrix inverse or finding eigenvalues and all those simple ones, and they helped me warm up to attempt the bigger questions. So that was my strategy. Like when I went there, I just, as I said, my first goal was to skim everything in 1 hour. And while skimming, I solved these small questions so that it will help me pick up the pace.
Yeah.
So initially we'll be slow. And like if you graph my performance during that 1 hour, it won't be like constant speed. It will be like slowly it will increase and it will become stable after like 40 minutes or something. So after 40 minutes, I was having a proper pace. In the first 40 minutes, I was actually slow, very slow. But people may think like after 40 minutes, if they check the time, 40 minutes would have happened and the things they have attended is very less. So they may lose hope and stuff. So I knew that this is going to happen. So I was not afraid of that.
But the thing is to be noticed that in starting you solve easy questions, not the difficult one. That's great. So
my strategy was like I will first skim the question for 10 minutes to see what is the question. Like is it an easy paper, difficult paper, or moderately easy, whatever it is.
Yeah.
So from which we'll set the mind. So this is going to be difficult paper. If it is difficult paper, even if you couldn't able to do 10 questions, it's perfectly fine. So okay, you can go ahead. So you should have this mindset. If it is difficult for you, it must be difficult for everyone. So that mindset will keep you cool. That will help you a lot. Avoiding the silly mistakes in other questions, So that I did in the first 10 minutes. After that, I'll start solving the first 1 mark questions. Because general aptitude is okay for me, but the verbals and grammar, I'm kind of weak. So I didn't go to that part first. But who are comfortable with starting with general aptitude, I would suggest them to start with what they are good at. Okay, once they start with the technical session, if they are good at it technical, then you can start with 1 mark and then move to the general aptitude. Then I went up to the 2 mark. So I missed out to I guess 5 to 6 questions. I thought I couldn't able to do it now, but later on I will come again and do it. So then at last I finished the first round. First round in a sense, I started with 1 mark, then general aptitude, and then 2 mark, and then I had almost 30 to 45 minutes. Then I went back to the questions which I couldn't able to do. I spent 2 to 3 minutes extra time for that question, and then I completed, and I guess I wrote for 95 marks, I guess. More or
so
less
5 marks you left?
Yeah, I left 5 marks because I don't want to take risk, and I left 5 marks. So then I kept 15 minutes for buffer, that where you will go and check what are the what you have done in the questions, rather than checking out the difficult question. Because once you know that the question is difficult and you have solved it, your mind would be so conscious, and you will not be making silly mistake over there. Go and check the easy questions. There you might have done mistakes because your mind would be setting it as an easy question.
People can think that suppose you have left 5 mark question, so you might have gone behind the 5 marks. Okay, let me try this 5 mark question more, so I can get more marks. You rather going for behind the difficult question, you look behind what the mistake you might have done on the easy questions.
So you should go to the easy question and check whether you have done the calculation correctly. For that you need to have the good note. They will give you some note, right? You should have written it so properly. You should not scribble. It's just because it names scribble pad, you should not scribble it. So otherwise it will be very difficult to check what you have done is right or wrong. So you should make it in a neat way. Not I didn't mean it to glitter or something, but just write it in a neat way so that legible way, so that you can come back and check what you have done is right. Then so I did that in the last 15 minutes, and I thought I would score about 90, really, but silly mistake pulled me down to 83 or 82.
I think the Scrabble paid tips was the great.
Okay. All my life I have been scribbling. So I read my own scribbles. I can easily recognize what I read. And I just gave some space separately for each question. So from then I went and found the scribble of that question and I checked. One more thing was there are numerical questions. Out of 65 questions, like total is 65, I left 5 questions and none of them are numerical because numerical don't have negative marks.
Okay.
So I since I knew some formulas, even if I don't know the exact thing to solve it, I still attempted it and I gave some answers. So 60 means like I lost 5 marks. So I attempted for 95, I guess. And then most of it got lost in numerical types and then 5 negative. So it became 75.
So like numerical questions are like free hit. Like you won't get out at least.
The bat without fear.
So, what should be the plan and strategy behind solving the previous year questions?
Previous year papers, in the starting I solved with notes. So I'll say why, because there are advantages for previous year papers. That is, the questions are mixed. They don't sort the questions in subject wise. But in mock tests online, mostly they sort them. Like aerospace and structures, they'll be clumped. But in previous year papers, since they are all jumbled, so it will help us feeling the exact exam. And one more advantage is to find mistakes, right? Like where are we losing marks? That to know that we are doing the mock tests. During the early time of the preparation, I didn't remember all the formulas, but I knew that later I'll remember, so I used my notes itself. I think in the starting, instead of trying to go blindly without any notes in the first mock test, if we go with notes, that's actually better because we'll feel confident also. We won't lose too much marks. And we'll know that just if I remember this formula, I can attempt that. That way, my initial 4 mock tests using the previous year paper were like that. And the later, my friends joined with me and we all sat separately and we solved. And we correct each other's papers. So that was how I attempted the previous year papers.
Great.
So I attended the previous year paper as a mock test alongside with the gating mock test. So in my case, you can say I attended all those previous year questions separately when I was studying in like say second year, third year. I was attending all those questions as well. But when you put every question all together, even if you know the answer for the question, you know, when you put it as a mock test by yourself, you will for sure you won't get 100 marks. It's very much difficult. So you will get at maths 90 because that's
impossible.
Yeah, that's true. Because when you put it all the question together, even if you know the answer, you will make silly mistakes. So that's where you can get
because
what mistakes
your
making.
brain will be start thinking in many directions.
Yeah,
You got
that's
not
true.
you have only one direction, one subject paper.
Exactly. So in a put it in a sense like it is not just a single subject in a sense. Okay?
Yeah.
So you need to you will be solving aerodynamics. The next question will be structures. So you should think in a different way for
So
it.
your brain should switch from
Switch
the
it. Yeah,
aerodynamics to structure.
That's true. Without making any mistakes.
Yeah.
Okay. And so once you do that as a mock test, you will get the feeling of what gate people they are expecting from us. They don't expect any remembrance of formulas or anything of that sort. They just want you to know the concept very well. They just check for how you understand it. So that will make you what to study, what to focus on when you are doing your revision or let's say preparing as well, when you are preparing your subject. So that's why when I was preparing, I started taking up the questions from previous year. I started taking up the question and okay, these guys are focusing more on boundary layer in aerodynamics. So we should focus more on boundary layer and what are the concepts you should study from the boundary
I
layer.
would like to add one thing here. I took an interview of Subham Agarwal. He secured a 35 rank in GATE exam. So he told that in 100% of syllabus, 60% syllabus will be very important.
That's true.
So that 90% question will come from this 60% of the syllabus. So you will get to know the 60% of the syllabus from previous year questions. Which area frequently question is coming.
That's true. It will give you sense what to focus more on. So once you get that concept, so focus more on and put your revision according to it. So that's how I used my previous year paper for my preparation as well as my mock test.
So rather solving a question from here and there, you can go and sit for 3 hours and you start attempting.
You can put it at the last. Take it as a mock test as well. Even if you know the questions and answers separately, you need to put it as a mock test for sure, so that you will get a sense how can you do it in 3 hours. You might have solved the question separately for 5 minutes or let's say, but when you put every question in the one single test and if you sat for 3 hours, and that will bring you essence of what the gate test will be.
The 3 hours will fly very fast. While writing the exam, we won't know how fast the time is going actually.
True.
And initially while preparing, people actually they cannot feel how the paper will be. Just going blind in preparation will not help, and as he said, it will give us the depth of what to prepare. Not just that, even in a specific topic, we can know like in which kind of direction we have to think. So in some topics, like in books, they are going to give everything in detail, and we may not need all of that. And only engineering point of parts and those parts which are useful in solving like 2 mark questions and 1 mark questions. So those are the main focus of the GATE exam, right? So they're not going to give us comprehensive exams or anything. So after doing the mock tests, we'll know exactly like how to think for those questions. So mock test is very important during preparation itself, because then they won't spend too much time on the preparation. They can focus on what to prepare and what not to prepare.
Mock test of previous year question paper.
So people should not mistake that mock test we are saying. So we are saying mock test of previous year question paper.
Also, there was a switch in syllabus, I think, from 2011 to 12. Aerospace GATE started from 2007.
Okay.
7 to 11, they had some extra syllabus, and they skimmed the syllabus a bit. So some topics in 2007 paper are not relevant to us currently, and also there are some mistakes in the keys. I don't know why no one noticed or I just found the mistakes like 2007 paper, 10 papers.
I don't remember.
So people should think like which question should not solve, which is not in our syllabus. Suppose
Yeah.
someone is starting your preparation now in August and they start solving 2005 paper, then they might end up with
They
the.
may get discouraged. Like,
yeah.
this topic I didn't even see in the syllabus, but they're asking.
So better to know your league.
So first paper I solved was 2019, and then I went for 2007.
Okay.
So there was a drastic contrast.
Yeah.
There is 150 questions, like no 150 marks, right?
Yeah, it was entirely
Gate mark was
different.
also different.
The pattern was different and the syllabus was different. And everything.
So you guys secured All India rank 1 and 2. Then you came to IISc.
Yeah.
So what was your expectation and what is the reality? Tell me, what is your experience in 1 year?
COVID hit me hard.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't expect this at all. When I was preparing, my motivation was like I'll enjoy in MTech.
Oh.
Then it became online course. Like it is difficult for all of us, we know, right? Offline is way better than online, and it's hard.
So my expectation was like, I thought everyone will be so studious and kind of nerd, you know, and but it doesn't.
He's
It's
a
not.
nerd.
No, not really. So, but it doesn't seem like that. So everyone was cool and people were playing sports and taking that as serious. I was not having that in my mind because whoever gets in over here, I thought they will not be doing anything other than studies and so. But yeah, people are doing so. He used to go for sports. He's a sports person, you know.
What do you play?
I play
Name,
many.
you name it, he will have it on his list. Yeah.
Yeah, I just play all the games like randomly. I don't have specific thing.
Okay, great.
Yeah, people will also do other stuffs as well. Like some people are good at finance.
watch
And,
anime.
yeah, he watch anime. See his t-shirt now.
So how you find faculties?
Faculties are cool, bro. Yeah, we have best in our country, you can say. And now this QS ranking 1 for given.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's after that it's become
And they're
so
very
much.
humble.
Yeah, that's true.
They have some very high level in their fields, but still the way they interact is like we cannot identify that they are them. I read about some professors before meeting them, and while me talking with them, I didn't know that they are them because the way they talk is so casual and normal. It is so friendly.
Even if you ask silly doubts, you know, they will explain you to the depth and they will explain it from the scratch. They don't, even if you ask 1,000 times, they will explain you no matter what. And they were so good. And yeah, faculties are best over here. You can say.
So they don't have ego at all. Like if they don't know something, they just say like I actually don't know. I have to read about it, and they'll come back after 2 days or 3 days and they'll explain again.
So kind of that.
Yeah. So one thing I got to know from them is like just because they are specialists in their field doesn't mean that they know everything. Like there are topics which they have to go back again every time to clear their doubts.
6 courses you have to do in one semester.
First semester, yeah.
So how hard it is and how it-
Okay, hardness. It's entirely different of what we did in BTech. BTech was chill, you can say, comparatively. But once you get in over here, and here the academic pressure is quite high. The first semester, it's very much hectic to take in. And yeah, but we survived through it and got some good CGPA as well.
Great.
It's fine.
Which yeah, my thing is like whenever I do anything, I need to go to that place and do. So I cannot play cricket in middle of hostel. I want to go to the ground and play. So if I want to play,
So you wanted to say that if
Yeah,
I would
I
have come
wanted
to
to
the
be in a
ISC, that would
classroom.
be great. For you.
it would be better than
So
what I
since
did in the
since your the COVID pandemic
my,
is going on,
my
so
motivation level from gate to my first semester was so down. During online class, online
So
class
you were in
anyway
home only,
recordings
right?
yeah, I was in home for my first semester, and since the recordings are there, I was not consistent in it. I skipped some classes. I was like, I'll attend this later. Anyway, recordings are there.
Faculty
So-
will be watching it, man.
It's fine. Even they know, right? So I didn't put my 100% in the first semester, I should say. But I learned many things. Same first 6 subjects were same as our BTech subjects, but the depth was very different. Entirely different. So it's like we just learned what is what and how to use it. Here, why it is like that and from where it came, history,
that's
all
the
those.
difference between BTech and MTech. right?
Yeah, here they taught us how to think to create them. MTech was very deep, and the second semester was a little bit lighter. I came to campus, I studied with friends. Group studies were there again.
Again,
so
you got in the.
I got a circle. Yeah, and third semester is going on now. It's going well, not bad.
So, what tips you want to give for GATE aspirants?
So my main thing is like consistency. Okay, even if it is last 5 months or 4 months, doesn't matter. You just have to be consistent continuously.
Great.
Consistent in the sense like every day you have to spend some time. And while preparing, there are points where we hit our rock bottom. So rock bottom in the sense like we will feel like we will not be able to finish it. Preparation, like lots of things are left. Or I'm not, sometimes I felt like I'm not smart enough to do, or I didn't have confidence and stuff. So those rock bottoms are when we start rising up. So while preparing, we may be at the top and we'll come down, and we have to keep moving forward so that after some time we'll realize the fruits of our practice. So keep consistent effort and don't worry about how you perform currently. Even though it is very bad and even if you feel demotivated, just go forward and you will feel the difference after some time.
Yeah, that's great.
You have to have hope while preparing throughout the time.
Great.
So, yeah, same as with him. Like you should be consistent throughout your preparation. Doesn't matter how long you prepare. I told you, right? One of my friend, he just prepared for 2 weeks and he secured 17 or 17. He's smart as. He's great, you know. And yeah, it doesn't matter how and what you are doing. It matters like how why you are doing it in the first place. So just make sure that your aim is clear and plan your preparation accordingly. Start following your plan, and then you will eventually clinch the top rank easily. It's not that difficult task, you know.
And start immediately. Just because I started from November, don't think like November is fine. Like it's a little bit hard. I stopped almost all my entertainment during the preparation. And if you start a little bit early, you can have those entertainment also and have some smooth preparation. So yeah, start as soon as possible if you want to prepare.
But it's never late.
Yeah, it's never too late also.
Yeah. So Bharat and Shyam, I really appreciate you guys. You gave me a time with your busy schedules, and I enjoy a lot in this interview. And I hope the viewers will also get benefited and with our podcast. And thanks a lot for coming here, and all the best for your futures.
Thank you for having me here.
Thank you. Pleasure to be here.
ना मेरा फील्ड अनसर्टन है, माथे पे जिम्मेदारियों का भी तो बर्डन है। मैं पूरी मेहनत कर भी शायद हार जाऊंगा, पर कोशिश भी ना की तो जीते जी मर जाऊं।